Book of Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 1. The purpose of Proverbs. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, king of Israel. Their purpose is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. Their purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them do what is right, just, and fair. These proverbs give insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. Let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those with understanding receive guidance. By exploring the meaning in these proverbs and parables, the words of the wise and their riddles, reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh is the foundation of true knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and discipline. A father's exhortation. Acquire wisdom. One's child, listen to when your father speaks and corrects you. Don't neglect your mother's instruction. What you learn from them crown you with grace and are a chain of honor around your neck. One's child, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, arrive and join us. Let's hide and kill someone. Just for fun, let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive like Sheol. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all the stuff we take. Come throw in your lot with us. We'll all share the loot. One's child, don't go along with them. Stay far away from their paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. And these people set an ambush for themselves. They are trying to get themselves killed. Such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them of life. Wisdom shouts in the streets. Wisdom shouts in the streets. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street, to those gathered in front of the city gate. How long, you simpletons, will you insist on being simple-minded? How long will you mockers relish your mocking? How long will you fools hate knowledge? Arrive and listen to one's counsel. One will share one's heart with you and make you wise. When called so often, and you wouldn't arrive, one reached out to you and you paid no attention. You ignored one's advice and rejected the correction one offered. So one will laugh when you are in trouble. One will mock you when disaster overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster engulfs you like a cyclone, and anguish and distress overwhelm you. When they cry for help, one will not answer. Though they anxiously search for one's being, they do not find one's being, for they hated knowledge and chose not to reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. They rejected one's advice and paid no attention when one corrected them. Therefore, they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way, choking on their own schemes, for simpletons turn away from one's being to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency, and all who listen to one's being live in peace, untroubled by fear of harm. The benefits of wisdom. Proverbs chapter 2. The benefits of wisdom. One's child, listen to what one says, and treasure one's command. Tune your ears to wisdom and concentrate on understanding. Cry out for insight and ask for understanding. Search for them as you would for silver. Seek them like hidden treasures. Then you understand what it means to reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and you gain knowledge of God. For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh grants wisdom, and from his mouth arrives knowledge and understanding. He grants the treasure of common sense to the honest. He's a shield to those who walk with integrity. He guards the paths of those that are just and protects those who are faithful to him. Then you understand what is right, just, and fair, and you find the right way to go. For wisdom enters your heart, and knowledge fills you with joy. Wise choices watch over you. Understanding keeps you safe. Wisdom saves you from evil people, from those whose words are twisted. These men turn from the right way to walk down dark paths. They take pleasure in doing wrong and enjoy the twisted ways of evil. Their actions are crooked and their ways are wrong. Wisdom saves you from the immoral woman, from the seductive words of the promiscuous woman. She has abandoned her husband and ignores the covenant she made before God. Entering her house leads to death. It is a road to the grave. The man who visits her is doomed. He never reaches the paths of life. Follow the steps of good men and stay on the paths of the righteous. For only the godly live in the land, and those with integrity remain in it. And the wicked are removed from the land, and the treacherous are uprooted. Proverbs 3, trusting in Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. One's child, never forget the things one has taught you. Store one's command in your heart. If you do this, you live many years, and your life is satisfying. Never let loyalty and kindness leave you. Tie them around your neck as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Then you find favor with both God and people, and you earn a good reputation. Trust in Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, with all your heart. Do not depend on your own understanding. Seek his will in all you do, and he shows you which path to take. Don't be impressed with your own wisdom. Instead, reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and turn away from evil. Then you have healing for your body and strength for your bones. Honor Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, with your wealth and with the best part of everything you produce. Then he fills your barns with grain, and your vats overflow with good wine. One's child, don't reject Yahweh the Lord Yahweh's discipline, and don't be upset when he corrects you. For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh corrects those he loves, just as a father corrects a child in whom he delights. Joyful is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For wisdom is more profitable than silver, and her wages are better than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare to her, or with her. She offers you long life in her right hand and riches and honor in her left. She guides you down delightful paths. All her ways are satisfying. Wisdom is a tree of life to those who embrace her. Happy are those who hold her tightly. By wisdom, Yahweh the Lord Yahweh founded the earth. By understanding, he created the heavens. By his knowledge, the deep fountains of the earth burst forth, and the dew settles beneath the night sky. One's child, don't lose sight of common sense and discernment. Hang on to them, for they refresh your soul. They are like jewels on a necklace. They keep you safe on your way, and your feet do not stumble. You can go to bed without fear. You lie down and sleep soundly. You need not be afraid of sudden disaster or the destruction that arrives upon the wicked. For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh is your security. He keeps your foot from being caught in a trap. Do not withhold good from those who deserve it, when it's in your power to help them. If you can help your neighbor now, don't say, "Arrive back tomorrow, and then I'll help you." Don't plot harm against your neighbor, for those who live nearby trust you. Don't pick a fight without reason when no one has done you harm. Don't envy violent people or copy their ways. Such wicked people are detestable to Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and he offers his friendship to the godly. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh curses the house of the wicked, and he blesses the home of the upright. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh mocks the mockers and is gracious to the humble. The wise inherit honor, and fools are put to shame. Proverbs 4. A father's wise advice. One's child, listen when your father corrects you. Pay attention and learn good judgment, for one is giving you good guidance. Don't turn away from one's instructions, for one too was once your father's son. It was once one's father's son, tenderly loved as one's mother's only child. One's father taught one's being, take my words to heart, follow my commands, and you will live. Get wisdom, develop good judgment. Don't forget one's words or turn away from them. Don't turn your back on wisdom, for she protects you. Love her, and she guards you. Getting wisdom is the wisest thing you can do. And whatever else you do, develop good judgment. If you prize wisdom, she makes you great. Embrace her, and she honors you. She places a lovely wreath on your head. She presents you with a beautiful crown. One's child, listen to one's being, and do as one says, and you live a long, good life. One teaches you wisdom's ways, and leads you in straight paths. When you walk, you won't be held back. When you run, you won't stumble. Take hold of one's instructions. Don't let them go. Guard them, for they are the key to life. Don't do as the wicked do, and don't follow the paths of evildoers. Don't even think about it. Don't go that way. Turn away and keep moving. For evil people can't sleep until they've done their evil deed for the day. They can't rest until they've caused someone to stumble. They eat the food of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. The way of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn, which shines even brighter until the full light of day. And the way of the wicked is like total darkness. They have no idea what they are stumbling over. One's child, pay attention to what one says. Listen carefully to one's words. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them, and healing to their whole body. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech. Look straight ahead, and fix your eyes on what lies before you. Mark out a straight path for your feet. Stay on the safe path. Don't get sidetracked. Keep your feet from following evil. Proverbs 5. Avoid immoral women. One son, pay attention to one's wisdom. Listen carefully to one's wise counsel. Then you show discernment, and your lips express what you've learned. For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. And in the end she is bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to Sheol. For she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. So now, one's sons, listen to one's being. Never stray from that one is about to say. Stay away from her. Don't go near the door of her house. If you do, you lose your honor and lose to merciless people all you have achieved. Strangers consume your wealth, and someone else enjoy the fruit of your labor. In the end, you groan in anguish when disease consumes your body, and you say, "How I hated discipline. If only I had not ignored all the warnings. Oh, why didn't I listen to my teachers? Why didn't I pay attention to my instructors? I have arrived to the brink of utter ruin, and now I must face public disgrace. Drink water from your own well. Share your love only with your wife. Why spill the water of your springs in the streets, having sex with just anyone? You should reserve it for yourselves. Never share it with strangers. Let your wife be a fountain of blessing for you. Rejoice in the wife of your youth. She is a loving deer, a graceful doe. Let her breast satisfy you always. May you always be captivated by her love. Why be captivated, one son, by an immoral woman, or fondle the breasts of a promiscuous woman? For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, sees clearly what a man does, examining every path he takes. An evil man is held captive by his own sins. There are ropes that catch him and hold him. He dies for lack of self-control. He is lost because of his great foolishness. Lessons for daily life. Proverbs 6. Lessons for daily life. One's child, if you put up security for a friend's debt, or agreed to guarantee the debt of a stranger, if you have trapped yourself by your agreement and are caught by what you said, follow one's advice and save yourself, for you place yourself at your friend's mercy. Now swallow your pride, go and beg to have your name erased. Don't put it off, do it now. Don't rest until you do. Save yourself like a gazelle escaping from a hunter, like a bird fleeing from a net. Take a lesson from the ants, you lazy bones. Learn from their ways and become wise. Though they have no prince or governor or ruler to make them work, they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. And you lazy bones, how long will you sleep? How long do you sleep? When do you wake up? A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest. Then poverty pounces on you like a bandit. Scarcity attacks you like an armed robber. What are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars, signaling their deceit with a wink of the eye, a nudge of the foot, or the wiggle of fingers. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble. And they are destroyed suddenly, broken in an instant, beyond all hope of healing. There are 6 things Yahweh the Lord Yahweh hates. No, 7 things he detests: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that kill the innocent, a heart that plots evil, feet that race to do wrong, a false witness who pours out lies, a person who sows discord in a family. One son, obey your father's commands and don't neglect your mother's instruction. Keep their words always in your heart, tie them around your neck. When you walk, their counsel leads you. When you sleep, they protect you. When you wake up, they advise you, for their command is a lamp and their instruction a light. Their corrective discipline is the way to life. It keeps you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of a promiscuous woman. Don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coy glances seduce you, for a prostitute brings you to poverty, and sleeping with another man's wife costs you your life. Can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So it is with the man who sleeps with another man's wife. He who embraces her does not go unpunished. Excuses might be found for a thief who steals because he is starving, and if he is caught, he must pay back 7 times what he stole, even if he has to sell everything in his house. And the man who commits adultery is an utter fool, for he destroys himself. He is wounded in disgrace, his shame never erased, for the woman's jealous husband is furious, and he shows no mercy when he takes revenge. He accepts no compensation, nor is satisfied with a payoff of any size. Another warning, Proverbs 7. Another warning for immoral women. Follow one's advice, one's son. Always treasure one's commands. Obey one's commands and live. Guard one's instructions as you guard your own eyes. Tie them on your fingers as a reminder. Write them deep within your heart. Love wisdom. Like a sister, make insight a beloved member of your family. Let them protect you from an affair with an immoral woman, from listening to the flattery of a promiscuous woman. While one was at the window of one's house, looking through the curtain, one saw some naive young men, and one in particular who lacked common sense. He is crossing the street near the house of an immoral woman, strolling down the path by her house. It was at twilight in the evening, as deep darkness fell. The woman approached him, seductively dressed and sly of heart. She was the brash, rebellious type, never content to stay at home. She is often in the streets and markets, soliciting at every corner. She threw her arms around him and kissed him, and with a brazen look said, "I have just made my peace offerings and fulfilled my vows. You're the one I was looking for. I arrived out to find you, and here you are. One's bed is spread with beautiful blankets, with colored sheets of Egyptian linen. One has perfumed one's bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Arrive, let's drink our fill of love until morning. Let's enjoy each other's caresses, for one's husband is not home. He's away on a long trip. He has taken a wallet full of money with him, and won't return until later this month." So she seduced him with her pretty speech, and enticed him with her flattery. He followed her at once like an ox going to the slaughter. He was like a stag caught in a trap, awaiting the arrow that would pierce its heart. He was like a bird flying into a snare, little knowing it would cost him his life. So listen to one's being, one's son, and pay attention to one's words. Don't let your hearts stray away toward her. Don't wander down her wayward path, for she has been the ruin of many. Many men have been her victims. Her house is the road to Sheol. Her bedroom is the den of death. Proverbs 8. Wisdom calls for a hearing. Listen as wisdom calls out. Hear as understanding raises her voice. On the hilltop along the road, she takes her stand at the crossroads. By the gates at the entrance to the town, on the road leading in, she cries aloud. I call to you, to all of you. I raise my voice to all people. You simple people, use good judgment. You foolish people, show some understanding. Listen to me, for I have important things to tell you. Everything I say is right, for I speak the truth and detest every kind of deception. When the advice is wholesome, there is nothing devious or crooked in it. One's words are plain to anyone with understanding, clear to those with knowledge. Choose one's instruction rather than silver, and knowledge rather than pure gold. For wisdom is far more valuable than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with it. I, wisdom, live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. All who reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, hate evil. Therefore, I hate pride, arrogance, corruption, and perverse speech. Common sense and success belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. Because of me, kings reign, and rulers make just decrees. Rulers lead with my help, and nobles make righteous judgments. I love all who love me. Those who search surely find me. I have riches and honor, as well as enduring wealth and justice. My gifts are better than gold, even the purest gold. One's wages better than sterling silver. One walks in righteousness and paths of justice. Those who love me inherit wealth, and I fill their treasuries. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh formed me from the beginning, before he created anything else. I was appointed in ages past, at the very first, before the earth began. I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their waters, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I was born, before he had made the earth and fields, and the first handfuls of soil. I was there when he established the heavens, when he drew the horizon on the oceans. I was there when he set the clouds above, when he established springs deep in the earth. I was there when he set the limits of the seas, so they would not spread beyond their boundaries. And when he marked off the earth's foundations, I was the architect at his side. I was with constant delight, rejoicing always in his presence. And how happy I was with the world he created, how I rejoiced with the human family. And so, my children, listen to me, for all who follow my ways are joyful. Listen to my instruction and be wise, don't ignore it. Joyful are those who listen to me, watching for me daily at my gates, waiting for me outside my home. For whoever finds me finds life and receives favor from Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. And those who miss me injure themselves. All who hate me love death. Proverbs 9. Wisdom has built her house. She has carved its 7 columns. She has prepared a great banquet, mixed the wines, and set the table. She has sent her servants to invite everyone to arrive. She calls out from the heights, overlooking the city. Arrive in with me, she urges the simple. To those who lack good judgment, she says, Arrive, eat my food, and drink the wine I have mixed. Leave your simple ways behind, and begin to live. Learn to use good judgment. Anyone who rebukes a mocker gets an insult in return. Anyone who corrects the wicked gets hurt, so don't bother correcting mockers. They only hate you. And correct the wise, and they love you. Instruct the wise, and they are even wiser. Teach the righteous, and they learn even more. Reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is the foundation of wisdom. Knowledge of the Holy One results in good judgment. Wisdom multiplies your days and adds years to your life. If you become wise, you are the one to benefit. If you scorn wisdom, you are the one to suffer. Folly calls for a hearing. The woman named Folly is brash. She is ignorant and doesn't know it. She sits in her doorway on the heights, overlooking the city. She calls out to men going by who are minding their own business. Arrive in with me, she urges the simple. To those who lack good judgment, she says, Stolen water is refreshing. Food eaten in secret tastes the best. And little do they know that the dead are there. Her guests are in the depths of Sheol. Proverbs 10. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise child brings joy to a father, A foolish child brings grief to a mother. Tainted wealth has no lasting value, and right living can save your life. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, does not go and let the godly become hungry, and he refuses to satisfy the craving of the wicked. Lazy people are soon poor, hard workers get rich. A wise youth harvests in the summer, and one who sleeps during harvest is a disgrace. The godly are showered with blessings. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. We have happy memories of the godly, and the name of a wicked person rots away. The wise are glad to be instructed, and babbling fools fall flat on their faces. People with integrity walk safely, and those who follow crooked paths slip and fall. People who wink at wrong cause trouble, and a bold reproof promotes peace. The words of the godly are a life-giving fountain. The words of the wicked conceal violent intentions. Hatred stirs up quarrels, and love makes up for all offenses. Wise words arrive from the lips of people with understanding, and those lacking sense are beaten with a rod. Wise people treasure knowledge, and the babbling of a fool invites disaster. The wealth of the rich is their fortress. The poverty of the poor is their destruction. The earnings of the godly enhance their lives, and evil people squander their money on sin. People who accept discipline are on the pathway to life, and those who ignore correction go astray. Hiding hatred makes you a liar. Slandering others makes you a fool. Too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. The words of the godly are like sterling silver. The heart of a fool is worthless. The words of the godly encourage many, and fools are destroyed by their lack of common sense. The blessing of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, makes a person rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Doing wrong is fun for a fool, and living wisely brings pleasure to the sensible. The fears of the wicked are fulfilled, the hopes of the godly are granted. When the storms of life arrive, the wicked are whirled away, and the godly have a lasting foundation. Lazy people irritate their employers, like vinegar to the teeth or smoke in the eyes. Reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, lengthens one's life, and the years of the wicked are cut short. The hopes of the godly result in happiness, and the expectations of the wicked arrive to nothing. The way of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is a stronghold to those with integrity, and it destroys the wicked. The godly are never disturbed, and the wicked are removed from the land. The mouth of the godly person gives wise advice, and the tongue that deceives is cut off. The lips of the godly speak helpful words, and the mouth of the wicked speaks perverse words. Proverbs chapter 11. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests the use of dishonest scales, and he delights in accurate weights. Pride leads to disgrace, and with humility arrives wisdom. Honesty guides good people. Dishonesty destroys treacherous people. Riches won't help on the day of judgment, and right living saves you from death. The godly are directed by honesty. The wicked fall beneath their load of sin. The godliness of good people rescues them. The ambition of treacherous people traps them. When the wicked die, their hopes die with them, for they rely on their own feeble strength. The godly are rescued from trouble, and it falls on the wicked instead. With their words, the godless destroy their friends, and knowledge rescues the righteous. The whole city celebrates when the godly succeed. They shout for joy when the wicked die. Upright citizens are good for a city and make it prosper, and the talk of the wicked tears it apart. It is foolish to belittle one's neighbor. A sensible person keeps quiet. A gossip goes around telling secrets, and those who are trustworthy can keep a confidence. Without wise leadership, a nation falls. There is safety in having many advisors. There is danger in putting up security for a stranger's debt. It's safer not to guarantee another person's debt. A gracious woman gains respect, and ruthless men gain only wealth. Your kindness rewards you. And your cruelty destroys you. Evil people get rich for the moment, and the reward of the godly lasts. Godly people find life, evil people find death. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests people with crooked hearts, and he delights in those with integrity. Evil people surely are punished, and the children of the godly go free. A beautiful woman who lacks discretion is like a gold ring in a pig's snout. The godly look forward to a reward, while the wicked can only expect judgment. While the godly can look forward to a reward. Give freely and become more wealthy. Be stingy and lose everything. The generous prosper. Those who refresh others themselves are refreshed. People curse those who hoard their grain, and they bless the one who sells in time of need. If you search for good, you find favor, and if you search for evil, it finds you. Trust in your money, and down you go. And the godly flourish like leaves in the spring. Those who bring trouble on their families inherit the wind. The fool is a servant to the wise. The seeds of good deeds become a tree of life. A wise person wins friends. If the righteous are rewarded here on earth, what happens to wicked sinners? Proverbs 12. To learn you must love discipline. It is stupid to hate correction. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, approves of those who are good, and he condemns those who plan wickedness. Wickedness never brings stability, and the godly have deep roots. A worthy wife is a crown for her husband, and a disgraceful woman is cancer in his bones. The plans of the godly are just, the advice of the wicked is treacherous. The words of the wicked are like a murderous ambush, and the words of the godly save lives. The wicked die and disappear, and the family of the godly stands firm. A sensible person wins admiration, and a warped mind is despised. Better to be an ordinary person with a servant than to be self-important and have no food. The godly care for their animals, and the wicked are always cruel. A hard worker has plenty of food, and a person who chases fantasies has no sense. Thieves are jealous of each other's loot, and the godly are well-rooted and bear their own fruit. The wicked are trapped by their own words, and the godly escape such trouble. Wise words bring many benefits, and hard work brings rewards. Fools think their own way is right, and the wise listen to others. A fool is quick-tempered, and a wise person stays calm when insulted. An honest witness tells the truth, a false witness tells lies. Some people make cutting remarks, and the words of the wise bring healing. Truthful words stand the test of time, and lies are soon exposed. Deceit fills hearts that are plotting evil. Joy fills hearts that are planning peace. No harm arrives to the godly, and the wicked have their fill of trouble. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh detests lying lips, and he delights in those who tell the truth. The wise don't make a show of their knowledge, and fools broadcast their foolishness. Work hard and become a leader. Be lazy and become a slave. Worry weighs a person down. An encouraging word cheers a person up. The godly give good advice to their friends. The wicked lead them astray. Lazy people don't even cook the game they catch, and the diligent make use of everything they find. The way of the godly leads to life. That path does not lead to death. Proverbs chapter 13. Proverb 13. While a wise child accepts a parent's discipline, a mocker refuses to listen to correction. Wise words win you a good meal, and treacherous people have an appetite for violence. Those who control their tongue have a long life. Opening your mouth can ruin everything. Lazy people want much and get little, and those who work hard prosper. The godly hate lies. The wicked cause shame and disgrace. Godliness guards the path of the blameless, and the evil are misled by sin. Some who are poor pretend to be rich. Others who are rich pretend to be poor. The rich can pay a ransom for their lives, and the poor don't even get threatened. The life of the godly is full of light and joy, and the light of the wicked is snuffed out. Pride leads to conflict. Those who take advice are wise. Wealth from get-rich-quick schemes quickly disappears. Wealth from hard work grows over time. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, and a dream fulfilled is a tree of life. People who despise advice are asking for trouble. Those who respect the command succeed. The instruction of the wise is a life-giving fountain. Those who accept it avoid the snares of death. A person with good sense is respected. A treacherous person is headed for destruction. Wise people think before they act. Fools don't, and even brag about their foolishness. An unreliable messenger stumbles into trouble, and a reliable messenger brings healing. If you ignore criticism, you end in poverty and disgrace. If you accept correction, you are honored. It is pleasant to see dreams arrive true, and fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. Walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. Trouble chases sinners, while blessings reward the righteous. Good people leave an inheritance to their grandchildren, and the sinner's wealth passes to the godly. A poor person's farm may produce much food, and injustice sweeps it all away. Those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children. Those who love their children care enough to discipline them. The godly eat to their heart's content, and the belly of the wicked goes hungry. Proverbs 14. A wise woman builds her home, and a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. Those who follow the right path reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. Those who take the wrong path despise him. A fool's proud talk becomes a rod that beats him, and the words of the wise keep them safe. Without oxen, a stable stays clean, and you need a strong ox for a large harvest. An honest witness does not lie. A false witness breathes lies. A mocker seeks wisdom and never finds it, and knowledge arrives easily to those with understanding. Stay away from fools, for you won't find knowledge on their lips. The prudent understand where they are going, and fools deceive themselves. Fools make fun of guilt, and the godly acknowledge it and seek reconciliation. Each heart knows its own bitterness, and no one else can fully share its joy. The house of the wicked are destroyed, the tent of the godly flourish. There is a path before each person that seems right, and it ends in death. Laughter conceals a heavy heart, and when the laughter ends, the grief remains. Backsliders get what they deserve. Good people receive their reward. Only simpletons believe everything they're told. The prudent carefully consider their steps. The wise are cautious and avoid danger. Fools plunge ahead with reckless confidence. Short-tempered people do foolish things, and schemers are hated. Simpletons are clothed with foolishness, and the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Evil people bow before good people. The wicked bow at the gates of the godly. The poor are despised even by their neighbors, while the rich have many, quote, friends, unquote. It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. If you plan to do evil, you are lost. If you plan to do good, you receive unfailing love and faithfulness. Work brings profit, and mere talk leads to poverty. Wealth is a crown for the wise. That for the fools yields only foolishness. A truthful witness saves lives, and a false witness is a traitor. Those who reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, are secure. He is a refuge for their children. Reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh is a life-giving fountain. It offers escape from the snares of death. A growing population is a king's glory. A prince without subjects has nothing. People with understanding control their anger. A hot temper shows great foolishness. A peaceful heart leads to a healthy body. Jealousy is like cancer in the bones. Those who oppress the poor insult their Maker, and helping the poor honors him. The wicked are crushed by disaster, and the godly have a refuge when they die. Wisdom is enshrined in an understanding heart. Wisdom is not found among fools. Godliness makes a nation great, and sin is a disgrace to any people. A king rejoices in wise servants, and is angry with those who disgrace him. Proverbs 15. A gentle answer deflects anger, and harsh words make tempers flare. The tongue of the wise makes knowledge appealing, and the mouth of a fool belches out foolishness. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is watching everywhere, keeping his eye on both the evil and the good. Gentle words are a tree of life. A deceitful tongue crushes the spirit. Only a fool despises a parent's discipline. Whoever learns from correction is wise. There is treasure in the house of the godly, and the earnings of the wicked bring trouble. The lips of the wise give good advice. The heart of a fool has none to give. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests the sacrifice of the wicked, and he delights in the prayers of the upright. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests the way of the wicked, and he loves those who pursue godliness. Whoever abandons the right path is severely disciplined. Whoever hates correction dies. Even death and destruction, Sheol and Abaddon, hold no secrets from Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. How much more does he know the human heart? Mockers hate to be corrected, so they stay away from the wise. A glad heart makes a happy face. A broken heart crushes the spirit. A wise person is hungry for knowledge, while the fool feeds on trash. For the despondent, every day brings trouble. For the happy heart, life is a continual feast. Better to have little with reverential fear for Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, than to have great treasure and inner turmoil. A bowl of vegetables with someone you love is better than steak with someone you hate. A hot-tempered person starts fights. A cool-tempered person stops them. A lazy person's ways is blocked with briars, and the path of the upright is an open highway. Sensible children bring joy to their father. Foolish children despise their mother. Foolishness brings joy to those with no sense. A sensible person stays on the right path. Plans go wrong for lack of advice. Many advisers bring success. Everyone enjoys a fitting reply. It is wonderful to say the right thing at the right time. The path of life leads upward for the wise. They leave Sheol behind. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, tears down the house of the proud, and he protects the property of widows. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests evil plans, and he delights in pure words. Greed brings grief to the whole family, and those who hate bribes live. The heart of the godly thinks carefully before speaking. The mouth of the wicked overflows with evil words. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is far from the wicked, and he hears the prayers of the righteous. A cheerful look brings joy to the heart. Good news makes for good health. If you listen to constructive criticism, you are at home among the wise. If you reject discipline, you only harm yourself. And if you listen to correction, you grow in understanding. Reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, teaches wisdom. Humility precedes honor. Proverbs 16. We can make our own plans, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, gives the right answer. People may be pure in their own eyes, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, examines their motives. Commit your actions to Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and your plans succeed. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, has made everything for his own purposes, even the wicked for the day of disaster. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests the proud. They are surely punished. Unfailing love and faithfulness make atonement for sin. By reverentially fearing Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, people avoid evil. When people's lives please Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, even their enemies Yeah, even their enemy and his cohorts are at peace with them. Better to have little with godliness than to be rich and dishonest. We can make our plans, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, determines our steps. The king speaks with divine wisdom. He must never judge unfairly. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, demands accurate scales and balances. He sets the standards for fairness. A king detests wrongdoing, for his rule is built on justice. Yeah. A king detests wrongdoing, for his rule is built on justice. The king is pleased with words from righteous lips. He loves those who speak honestly. The anger of the king is a deadly threat. The wise try to appease it. When the king smiles, there is life. His favor refreshes like a spring rain. How much better to get wisdom than gold, and good judgment than silver. The path of the virtuous leads away from evil. Whoever follows that path is safe. Pride goes before destruction, and haughtiness before a fall. Better to live humbly with the poor than to share plunder with the proud. Those who listen to instruction prosper. Those who trust Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, are joyful. The wise are known for their understanding, and pleasant words are persuasive. Discretion is a life-giving fountain to those who possess it, and discipline is wasted on fools. From a wise mind arrives wise speech. The words of the wise are persuasive. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. There is a path before each person that seems right, and it ends in death. It is good for workers to have an appetite. An empty stomach drives them on. Scoundrels create trouble. Their words are a destructive blaze. A troublemaker plants seeds of strife. Gossip separates the best of friends. Violent people mislead their companions, leading them down a harmful path. With narrowed eyes, people plot evil. With a smirk, they plan their mischief. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained by living a godly life. Better to be patient than powerful. Better to have self-control than to conquer a city. We may throw the dice, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, determines how they fall. Proverbs 17. Better a dry crust eaten in peace than a house filled with feasting and conflict. A wise servant rules over the master's disgraceful son, and shares the inheritance of the master's children. Fire tests the purity of silver and gold, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, tests the heart. Wrongdoers eagerly listen gossip. Liars pay close attention to slander. Those who mock the poor insult their maker. Those who rejoice at the misfortune of others are punished. Grandchildren are the crown and glory of the aged. Parents are the pride of their children. Eloquent words are not fitting for a fool. Even less are lies fitting for a ruler. A bribe is like a lucky charm. Whoever gives one prospers. Love prospers when a fault is forgiven, and dwelling on it separates close friends. A single rebuke does more for a person of understanding than 100 lashes on the back of a fool. Evil people are eager for rebellion and are severely punished. It is safer to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a fool caught in foolishness. If you repay good with evil, evil never leaves your house. Starting a quarrel is like opening a floodgate, so stop before a dispute breaks out. Acquitting the guilty and condemning the innocent, both are detestable to Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. It is senseless to pay tuition to educate a fool, since he has no heart for learning. A friend is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in time of need. It's poor judgment to guarantee another person's debt, or put up security for a friend. Anyone who loves to quarrel loves sin. Anyone who trusts in high walls invites disaster. The crooked heart does not prosper. The lying tongue tumbles into trouble. It is painful to be the parent of a fool. There is no joy for the father of a rebel. A cheerful heart is good medicine, and a broken spirit saps a person's strength. The wicked take secret bribes to pervert the course of justice. Sensible people keep their eyes glued on wisdom, and a fool's eyes wander to the ends of the earth. Foolish children bring grief to their father and bitterness to the one who gave them birth. It is wrong to punish the godly for being good, or to flog leaders for being honest. A truly wise person uses few words. A person with understanding is even-tempered. Even fools are thought wise when they keep silent. With their mouths shut, they seem intelligent. Proverb 18. Unfriendly people care only about themselves. They lash out at common sense. Fools have no interest in understanding. They only want to air their own problems. Doing wrong leads to disgrace, and scandalous behavior brings contempt. Wise words are like deep waters. Wisdom flows from the wise like a bubbling brook. It is not right to acquit the guilty or deny justice to the innocent. Fools' words get them into constant quarrels. They are asking for a beating. The mouths of fools are their ruin. They trap themselves with their lips. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. A lazy person is as bad as someone who destroys things. The name of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is a strong fortress. The godly run to him and are safe. The rich think of their wealth as a strong defense. They imagine it to be a high wall of security. Haughtiness goes before destruction. Humility precedes honor. Spouting off before listening to the facts is both shameful and foolish. The human spirit can endure a sick body, and who can bear a crushed spirit? Intelligent people are always ready to learn. Their ears are open for knowledge. Giving a gift can open doors. It gives access to important people. The first to speak in court sounds right until the cross-examination begins. Casting lots can end arguments. It settles disputes between powerful opponents. An offended friend is harder to win back than a fortified city. Arguments separate friends like a gate locked with bars. Wise words satisfy like a good meal. The right words bring sanctification. The tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk reap the consequences. The man who finds a wife finds a treasure, and he receives favor from Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. The poor plead for mercy. The rich answer with insults. There are quote, friends, unquote, who destroy each other, and a real friend sticks closer than a brother. Proverbs chapter 19. Better to be poor and honest than to be dishonest and a fool. Enthusiasm without knowledge is no good. Haste makes mistakes. People ruin their lives by their own foolishness and then are angry at Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. Wealth makes many, quote, friends. Poverty drives them all away. A false witness does not go unpunished, nor does a liar escape. Many seek favors from a ruler. Everyone is the friend of a person who gives gifts. The relatives of the poor despise them. How much more do their friends avoid them? Though the poor plead with them, their friends are gone. To acquire wisdom is to love oneself. People who cherish understanding prosper. A false witness does not go unpunished, and a liar is not destroyed. It isn't right for a fool to live in luxury or for a slave to rule over princes. Sensible people control their temper. They earn respect by overlooking wrongs. The king's anger is like a lion's roar, and his favor is like a dew on the grass. A foolish child is a calamity to a father. A quarrelsome wife is as annoying as constant dripping. Fathers can give their sons an inheritance of houses and wealth, and only Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, can give an understanding wife. Lazy people sleep soundly, and idleness leaves them hungry. Keep the commandments and keep your life. Despising them leads to death. If you help the poor, you are lending to Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and he repays you. Discipline your children while there is hope, otherwise you ruin their lives. Hot-tempered people must pay the penalty. If you rescue them once, you have to do it again. Get all the advice and instruction you can, so you are wise the rest of your life. You can make many plans, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh's purpose prevails. Loyalty makes a person attractive. It is better to be poor than dishonest. Reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh leads to life, bringing security and protection from harm. Lazy people take food in their hand, and don't even lift it to their mouth. If you punish a mocker, the simple-minded learn the lesson. If you correct the wise, they are all the wiser. Children who mistreat their father or chase away their mother are an embarrassment and a public disgrace. If you stop listening to instruction once child, you turn your back on knowledge. If you stop listening to instruction once child, you turn your back on knowledge. A corrupt witness makes a mockery of justice. The mouth of the wicked gulps down evil. Punishment is made for mockers, and the backs of fools are made to be beaten. Proverbs 20. Wine produces mockers, alcohol leads to brawls. Those led astray by drink cannot be wise. The king's fury is like a lion's roar. To rouse his anger is to risk your life. Avoiding a fight is a mark of honor. Only fools insist on quarreling. Those too lazy to plow in the right season have no food at the harvest. Though good advice lies deep within the heart, a person with understanding draws it out. Many say they are loyal friends, and who can find one who is truly reliable? The godly walk with integrity. Blessed are their children who follow them. When a king sits in judgment, he weighs all the evidence, distinguishing the good from the bad, and the bad from the good. Who can say, I have cleansed my heart, I am pure and free from sin? False weights and unequal measures, Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests double standards of every kind. Even children are known by the way they act, whether their conduct is pure and whether it is right. Ears to hear and eyes to see, both are gifts from Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. If you love sleep, even in poverty, keep your eyes open, and there is plenty to eat. The buyer haggles over the price, saying it's worthless, then brags about getting a bargain. Wise words are more valuable than much gold and many rubies. Get security from someone who guarantees a stranger's debt. Get a deposit if he does it for foreigners. Stolen bread tastes sweet, and it turns to gravel in the mouth. Plans succeed through good counsel. Don't go to war without wise advice. A gossip goes around telling secrets, so don't hang around with chatterers. If you insult your father or mother, your light is snuffed out in total darkness. An inheritance obtained too early in life is not a blessing in the end. Don't say, I will get even for this wrong. Wait for Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, to handle the matter. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, detests double standards. He is not pleased by dishonest scales. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh directs our steps, and he directs one's steps, so why try to understand everything along the way? Don't trap yourself by making a rash promise to God and only later counting the costs. A wise king scatters the wicked like wheat, then runs his threshing wheel over them. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh's light penetrates the human spirit, exposing every hidden motive. Unfailing love and faithfulness protect the king. His throne is made secure through love. The glory of the young is their strength. The gray hair of experience is the splendor of old. Physical punishment cleanses away evil. Such a discipline purifies the heart. Proverbs 20. The king's heart is like a stream of water directed by Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. He guides it wherever he pleases. People may be right in their own eyes, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, examines their heart. The Lord Yahweh is more pleased when one does what is right and just than when one offers him sacrifices. Haughty eyes, a proud heart, and evil actions are all sin. Good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, and hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. Wealth created by a lying tongue is a vanishing mist and a deadly trap. The violence of the wicked sweeps them away because they refuse to do what is just. The guilty walk a crooked path, the innocent travel a straight road. It's better to live alone in the corner of an attic than with a quarrelsome wife in a lovely home. Evil people desire evil. Their neighbors get no mercy from them. If you punish a mocker, the simple-minded become wise. If you instruct the wise, they are all the wiser. The righteous one knows what is going on in the homes of the wicked. He brings disaster on them. Those who shut their ears to the cries of the poor are ignored in their own time of need. A secret gift calms anger. A bribe under the table pacifies fury. Justice is a joy to the godly, and it terrifies evildoers. The person who strays from common sense ends up in the company of the dead. Those who love pleasure become poor. Those who love wine and luxury are never rich. The wicked are punished in place of the godly, and traitors in place of the dishonest. It's better to live alone in the desert than with a quarrelsome wife that complains. The wise have wealth and luxury, and fools spend whatever they want. Or fools spend whatever they get. Whoever pursues righteousness and unfailing love find life, righteousness, and honor. The wise conquer the city of the strong and level the fortress in which they trust. Watch your tongue and keep your mouth shut, and you stay out of trouble. Mockers are proud and haughty. They act with boundless arrogance. Despite their desires, the lazy arrive to ruin, for their hands refuse to work. Some people are always greedy for more, and the godly love to give. The sacrifice of an evil person is detestable, especially when it is offered with wrong motives. A false witness is cut off, and a credible witness is allowed to speak. The wicked bluff their way through, and the virtuous think before they act. No human wisdom or understanding or plan can stand against Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. The horse is prepared for the day of battle, and the victory belongs to Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. Proverb 22. Choose a good reputation over great riches. Being held in high esteem is better than silver or gold. The rich and poor have this in common. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, made them both. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. True humility and reverential fear of Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, lead to riches, honor, and long life. Corrupt people walk a thorny, treacherous road. Whoever values life avoids it. Direct your children onto the right path, and when they are older, they do not leave it. Just as the rich rule the poor, so the borrower is servant to the lender. Those who plant injustice harvest disaster, and their reign of terror arrives to an end. Blessed are those who are generous, because they feed the poor. Throw out the mocker, and fighting goes too. Quarrels and insults disappear. Whoever loves a pure heart and gracious speech have the king as a friend. Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, preserves those with knowledge, and he ruins the plans of the treacherous. The lazy person claims, "There's a lion out there. If I go outside, I might be killed." The mouth of an immoral woman is a dangerous trap. Those who make Yahweh the Lord Yahweh angry fall into it. A youngster's heart is filled with foolishness, and physical discipline drives it far away. A person who gets ahead by oppressing the poor or by showering gifts on the rich in poverty. Sayings of the wise. Listen to the words of the wise. Apply your heart to one's instruction. For it is good to keep these things in your heart and always ready on your lips. When I was teaching you today, yes, you, So you trust in Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. I have written 30 sayings for you, filled with advice and knowledge. In this way you may know the truth and take an accurate report to those who sent you. Don't rob the poor just because you can, or exploit the needy in court. For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is their defender. For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh is their defender. He ruins anyone who ruins them. Don't befriend angry people. Don't befriend angry people or associate with hot-tempered people, or you learn to be like them and endanger your soul. Don't agree to guarantee another person's debt or put up security for someone else. If you can't pay it, even your bed is snatched from under you. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers set up by previous generations. Do you see any truly competent workers? They serve kings rather than working for ordinary people. Proverb 23. While dining with your ruler, pay attention to what is put before you. If you're a big eater, put a knife to your throat. Don't desire all the delicacies, for he might be tricking you. Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Be wise enough to know when to quit. In the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it sprouts wings and flies away. Don't eat with people who are stingy. Don't desire their delicacies. They are always thinking about how much it costs. Eat and drink, they say, and they don't mean it. You throw up what little you've eaten, and your compliments are wasted. Don't waste your breath on fools, for they despise the wisest advice. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers. Don't take the land of defenseless orphans. For the Redeemer is strong. He himself brings their charges against you. Commit yourself to instruction. Listen carefully to the words of knowledge. Don't fail to discipline your children. They won't die if you spank them. Physical discipline may well save them from death. If your heart is wise, one's own heart rejoices. Everything in one's being celebrates when you speak what is right. Don't envy sinners, and always continue to reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. You are rewarded for this. Your hope is not disappointed. One's child, listen and be wise. Keep your heart on the right course. Do not carouse with drunkards or feast with gluttons, for they are on their way to poverty, and too much sleep clothes them in rags. Listen to your father who gave you life, and don't despise your mother when she is old. Get the truth and never sell it. Also, get wisdom, discipline, and good judgment. The father of godly children hath cause for joy. What a pleasure to have children who are wise. So give your father and mother joy. May she who gave you birth be happy. O one son, give one your heart. May your eyes take delight in following one's ways. A prostitute is a dangerous trap. A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. She hides and waits like a robber, eager to make more men unfaithful. Who is anguish? Who is sorrow? Who is always fighting? Who is always complaining? Who has unnecessary bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? It is the one who spends long hours in the taverns, trying out new drinks. Don't gaze at the wine, seeing how red it is, how it sparkles in the cup, how smoothly it goes down. For in the end it bites like a poisonous snake. It stings like a viper. You see hallucinations, and you say crazy things. You stagger like a sailor tossed at sea, clinging to a swaying mast, and you say, "They hit me, and I didn't feel it. I didn't even know it when they beat me up." When one wakes up, when will one wake up so one can look for another drink? Proverbs 24. Don't envy evil people or desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their words always stir up trouble. A house is built by wisdom and becomes strong through good sense. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with all sorts of precious riches and valuables. The wise are mightier than the strong, and those with knowledge grow stronger and stronger. So don't go to war without wise guidance. Victory depends on having many advisers. Wisdom is too lofty for fools. Among leaders at the city gate, they have nothing to say. A person who plans evil gets a reputation as a troublemaker. The schemes of a fool are sinful. Everyone detests a mocker. If you fail under pressure, your strength is too small. Rescue those who are unjustly sentenced to die. Save them as they stagger to their death. Don't excuse yourself by saying, "Look, we didn't know," for God understands all hearts, and he sees you. He who guides your soul knows you knew. He repays all people as their actions deserve. One's child, eat honey, for it is good, and the honeycomb is sweet to the taste. In the same way, wisdom is sweet to your soul. If you find it, you have a bright future, and your hopes are not cut short. Don't lay an ambush at the home of the godly, and don't raid the house where the godly live. The godly may trip 7 times, and they get up again, and one disaster is enough to overthrow the wicked. Don't rejoice when your enemy falls, when your enemy and his cohorts fall. Don't be happy when they stumble. For Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is pleased with you, and turns his anger away from them. Don't fret because of evildoers. Don't envy the wicked, for evil people have no future. The light of the wicked is snuffed out. One's child, reverentially fear Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and the King. Don't associate with rebels, for disaster hits them suddenly. Who knows what punishment arrives from Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, and the King? More sayings of the wise. Here are some further sayings of the wise. It is wrong to show favoritism when passing judgment. A judge who says to the wicked, "You are innocent," is cursed by many people and denounced by the nations. And it goes well for those who convict the guilty. Rich blessings are showered on them. An honest answer is like a kiss of friendship. Do your planning and prepare your fields before building your house. Don't testify against your neighbors without cause. Don't lie about them, and don't say, "Now I can pay them back for what they've done to me. I'll get even with them." I walked by the field of a lazy person, the vineyard of one with no common sense. I saw that it was overgrown with nettles, it was covered with weeds, and its walls were broken down. Then as one looked about and thought about it, I learned this lesson. A little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, then poverty pounces on you like a bandit. Scarcity attacks you like an armed robber. Proverbs 25. More Proverbs of Solomon. These are more Proverbs of Solomon, collected by the advisors of King Hezekiah of Judah. It's God's privilege to conceal things, and the king's privilege to discover them. No one can comprehend the height of heaven, the depth of the earth, or all that goes on in the king's mind. Remove the impurities from silver, and the sterling is ready for the silversmith. Remove the wicked from the king's court, and his reign is made secure by justice. Don't demand an audience with the king, or push for a place among the great. It's better to wait for an invitation to the head table than to be sent away in public disgrace. Just because you've seen something, don't be in a hurry, and don't be in a hurry to go to court. For what do you do in the end if your neighbor deals you a shameful defeat? When arguing with your neighbor, don't betray another person's secret. Others may accuse you of gossip, and you never regain your good reputation. Timely advice is lovely, like golden apples in a silver basket. To one who listens, valid criticism is like a gold earring or other gold jewelry. Trustworthy messengers refresh like snow in summer. They revive the spirit of their employer. A person who promises a gift and doesn't give it is like clouds and the wind that bring no rain. Patience can persuade a prince, and soft speech can break bones. You like honey? Don't eat too much, or it makes you sick. Don't visit your neighbors too often, or you wear out your welcome. Telling lies about others is as harmful as hitting them with an axe, wounding them with a sword, or shooting them with a sharp arrow. Putting confidence in an unreliable person in times of trouble is like chewing with a broken tooth or walking on a lame foot. Singing cheerful songs to a person with a heavy heart is like taking someone's coat in cold weather or pouring vinegar in a wound. If your enemy and his cohorts are hungry, give them food to eat. If they are thirsty, give them water to drink. You heap burning coals of shame on their heads, and Yahweh the Lord Yahweh rewards you. As surely as north wind brings rain, so a gossiping tongue causes anger. It's better to live alone in the corner of an attic than with a quarrelsome wife in a lovely home. Good news from far away is like cold water to the thirsty. If the godly give in to the wicked, it's like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. It's not good to eat too much honey, and it's not good to seek honors for yourself. A person without self-control is like a city with broken down walls. Proverbs 26. Honor is no more associated with fools than snow with summer or rain with harvest. Like a fluttering sparrow or a darting swallow, an undeserved curse does not land on its intended victim. Guide a horse with a whip, a donkey with a bridle, and a fool with a rod to his back. Don't answer the foolish arguments of fools, or you become as foolish as they are. Be sure to answer the foolish arguments of fools, or they become wise in their own estimation. Trusting a fool to convey a message is like cutting off one's feet or drinking poison. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is as useless as a paralyzed leg. Honoring a fool is as foolish as tying a stone to a slingshot. A proverb in the mouth of a fool is like a thorny branch brandished by a drunk. An employer who hires a fool or a bystander is like an archer who shoots at random. As a dog returns to its vomit, so a fool repeats its foolishness. There is more hope for fools than for people who think they are wise. The lazy person claims there's a lion on the road. Yes, I'm sure there's a lion out there. As the door swings back and forth on its hinges, so the lazy person turns over in bed. Lazy people take food in their hand and don't even lift it to their mouth. Lazy people consider themselves smarter than 7 wise counselors. Interfering in someone else's argument is as foolish as yanking a dog's ears. Just as damaging as a madman shooting a deadly weapon is someone who lies to a friend and then says, "I was only joking." Fire goes out without wood, and quarrels disappear when gossip stops. A quarrelsome person starts fights as easily as hot embers light charcoal or fire lights wood. Rumors are dainty morsels that sink deep into one's heart. Smooth words may hide a wicked heart, just as pretty glaze covers a clay pot. People may cover their hatred with pleasant words, and they're deceiving you. They pretend to be kind and don't believe them. Their hearts are full of many evils. While their hatred may be concealed by trickery, their wrongdoing is exposed in public. If you set a trap for others, you get caught in it yourself. If you roll a boulder down on others, it crushes you instead. A lying tongue hates its victims, and flattering words cause ruin. Proverbs 27. Don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day brings. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth. A stranger, not your own lips. A stone is heavy, and sand is weighty, and the resentment caused by a fool is even heavier. Anger is cruel, and wrath is like a flood, and jealousy is even more dangerous. An open rebuke is better than hidden love. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy. A person who is full refuses honey, and even bitter food tastes sweet to the hungry. A person who strays from home is like a bird that strays from its nest. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume, and incense. Never abandon a friend, either yours or your father's. When disaster strikes, you won't have to ask your brother for assistance. It's better to go to a neighbor than to a brother who lives far away. Be wise, one's child, and make one's heart glad. Then one will be able to answer one's critics. A prudent person foresees danger and takes precautions. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. Get security from someone who guarantees a stranger's debt. Get a deposit if he does it for foreigners. A loud and cheerful greeting early in the morning is taken as a curse. A quarrelsome wife is as annoying as constant dripping on a rainy day. Stopping her complaints is like trying to stop the wind, or trying to hold something with greased hands. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. As workers who tend a fig tree are allowed to eat the fruit, so workers who protect their employers' interests are rewarded. As the face is reflected in water, so the heart reflects the real person. Just as Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, so human desire is never satisfied. Fire tests the purity of silver and gold, and a person is tested by being praised. You cannot separate fools from their foolishness, even though you grind them like grain with mortar and pestle. Know the state of your flocks, and put your heart into caring for your herds. For riches don't last forever, and the crown might not be passed to the next generation. After the hay is harvested and the new crop appears, and the mountain grasses are gathered in, your sheep provide wool for clothing, and your goats provide the price of a field. And you have enough goats, milk for yourself, your family, and your servant girls. Proverb 28. The wicked run away when no one is chasing them, and the godly are as bold as lions. When there is moral rot within a nation, its government topples easily, and wise and knowledgeable leaders bring stability. A poor person who oppresses the poor is like a pounding rain that destroys the crops. To reject the law is to praise the wicked. To obey the law is to fight them. Evil people don't understand justice, and those who follow Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, understand completely. Better to be poor and honest, than to be dishonest and rich. Young people who obey the law are wise. Those with wild friends bring shame to their parents. Income from charging high interest rates end up in the pocket of someone who is kind to the poor. God detests the prayers of a person who ignores the law. Those who lead good people along an evil path fall into their own trap, and the honest inherit good things. Rich people may think they are wise, and a poor person with discernment can see right through them. When the godly succeed, everyone is glad. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. People who conceal their sins do not prosper, and if they confess and turn from them, they receive mercy. Blessed are those who reverentially fear to do wrong, and the stubborn are headed for serious trouble. A wicked ruler is as dangerous as the poor, as a roaring lion or an attacking bear. A ruler with no understanding oppresses his people, and one who hates corruption has a long life. A murderer's tormented conscience drives him into the grave. Don't protect him. The blameless are rescued from harm, and the crooked are suddenly destroyed. A hard worker has plenty of food, and a person who chases fantasies ends up in poverty. The trustworthy person gets a rich reward, and a person who wants quick riches gets into trouble. Showing partiality is never good, yet some do wrong for a mere piece of bread. Greedy people try to get rich quick and don't realize they're headed for poverty. In the end, people appreciate honest criticism far more than flattery. Anyone who steals from his father and mother and says, "What's wrong with that?" is no better than a murderer. Greed causes fighting. Trusting Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, leads to prosperity. Those who trust their own insight are foolish, and anyone who walks in wisdom is safe. Whoever gives to the poor lacks nothing, and those who close their eyes to poverty are cursed. When the wicked take charge, people go into hiding. When the wicked meet disaster, the godly flourish. Proverb 29. Whoever stubbornly refuses to accept criticism suddenly is destroyed beyond recovery. When they are in authority, the people rejoice. The wicked are in power, they groan. The man who loves wisdom brings joy to his father, and if he hangs around with prostitutes, his wealth is wasted. A just king gives stability to his nation, and one who demands bribes destroys it. To flatter friends is to lay a trap for their feet. Evil people are trapped by sin, and the righteous escape shouting for joy. The godly care about the rights of the poor, the wicked don't care at all. Mockers can get a whole town agitated, and the wise calm anger. If a wise person takes a fool to court, there's ranting and ridicule. Ranting and ridicule and no satisfaction. The bloodthirsty hate blameless people, and the upright seek to help them. Fools vent their anger, and the wise quietly hold it back. If a ruler pays attention to liars, all his advisers are wicked. The poor and the oppressor have this in common: Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, gives sight to the eyes of both. If a king judges the poor fairly, his throne lasts forever. To discipline a child produces wisdom, and a mother is disgraced by an undisciplined child. When the wicked are in authority, sin flourishes, and the godly live to see their downfall. Discipline your children, and they give you peace of mind, and they make your heart glad. When people do not accept divine guidance, they run wild, and whoever obeys the law is joyful. Words alone do not discipline a servant. The words may be understood, and they are not heeded. There is more hope for a fool than for someone who speaks without thinking. A servant pampered from childhood becomes a rebel. An angry person starts fights. A hot-tempered person commits all kinds of sin. Pride ends in humiliation, while humility brings honor. If you assist a thief, you only hurt yourself. You are sworn to tell the truth, and you dare not testify. Fearing people is a dangerous trap, and trusting Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, means safety. Many seek the ruler's favor, and justice arrives from Yahweh the Lord Yahweh. The righteous despise the unjust, the wicked despise the godly. Proverbs 30. The sayings of Agur, son of Jekah, contain this message: I am weary, O God, or one is weary, O God, one is weary and worn out, O God. One is too stupid to be human, and one lacks common sense. One has not mastered human wisdom, nor does one know the Holy One. Who, except God, goes up to heaven and arrives back down? Who holds the wind in his fist? Who wraps up the oceans in a cloak? Who has created the whole wide world? What is his name and his son's name? Tell me if you know. Every word of God proves true. He is a shield to all who arrive to him for protection. Do not add to his words, or he may rebuke you and expose you as a liar. O God, one begs two favors of you. Let one have them before one dies. First, help one never to tell a lie. Second, give one neither poverty nor riches. Give one just enough to satisfy one's needs. For if one grows rich, one may deny you and say, Who is Yahweh the Lord Yahweh? And if one is too poor, one may steal and thus insult God's holy name. Never slander a worker to the employer, or the person curses you, and you pay for it. Some people curse their father and do not thank their mother. They appear in their own eyes, and they are filthy and unwashed. They look proudly around, casting disdainful glances. They have teeth like swords and fangs like knives. They devour the poor from the earth and the needy from among humanity. The leech has two suckers that cry out more and more. There are three things that are never satisfied, no, four that never say enough. Sheol, the barren womb, the thirsty desert, the blazing fire. The eye that mocks a father and despises a mother's instructions is plucked out by ravens of the valley and eaten by vultures. There are three things that amaze me, that amaze one's being, no, four that one doesn't understand. How an eagle glides through the sky, how a snake slithers on a rock, how a ship navigates the ocean, how a man loves a woman. An adulterous woman consumes a man, then wipes her mouth and says, "What's wrong with that?" There are three things that make the earth tremble. No, four it cannot endure. A slave who becomes a king, an overbearing fool who prospers, a bitter woman who finally gets a husband, a servant girl who supplants her mistress. There are four things on earth that are small and unusually wise. Ants, they aren't strong, and they store up food all summer. Hyraxes, they aren't powerful, and they make their homes among the rocks. Locusts, they have no king, and they march in formation. Lizards, they are easy to catch, and they are found even in kings' palaces. There are three things that walk with stately stride, no, four that strut about. The lion, king of animals, who won't turn aside for anything. The strutting rooster, the male goat, a king as he leads his army. If you have been a fool by being proud or applying evil, cover your mouth in shame. As the beating of cream yields butter and striking the nose causes bleeding, so stirring up anger causes quarrels. Proverbs 31. The sayings of King Lemuel. The sayings of King Lemuel contain this message, which his mother taught him. O one's son, O son of one's womb, O son of one's vows, do not waste your strength on women, on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, to guzzle wine. Rulers should not crave alcohol, for if they drink, they may forget the law and not give justice to the oppressed. Alcohol is for the dying, and wine for those in bitter distress. Let them drink to forget their poverty, and remember their troubles no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless, and see that they get justice. A wife of noble character. Who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her, and she greatly enriches his life. She brings him good, not harm, all the days of her life. She finds wool and flax, and busily spins it. She is like a merchant ship, bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. She goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She is energetic and strong, a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread, her fingers twisting fiber. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. She makes her own bedspreads. She dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. Her husband is well known at the city gates, where he sits with the other civic leaders. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. When she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instructions with kindness. She carefully watches everything in her household and suffers nothing from laziness. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, and you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty does not last, and a woman who reverentially fears Yahweh the Lord Yahweh, is greatly praised. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise.